I need to do this.
We are live.
How I link?
Okay, so if you go to my page, you might see it. Um, Well, you might even see. No, I'm not
Oh,
Tasha.
dog said I don't speak. I can't get my glasses on.
Yeah.
All right then.
Well, it's probably. I'm saying like in the
Oh,
news
when it come out
feed.
new feed, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I hope
You
it'll
should have
pop
got a
up. Sometimes it
notification.
does. Sometimes it do, and sometimes it don't.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, told you.
Ain't
I've
nobody on
been
here yet though. They
I've
coming.
been doing weird stuff.
Yeah. So what I don't like, I don't wait like 10 minutes to get some people because people go back and review the recordings. So it's kind of like people are at work, they come in and they go. So sometimes you might not see nobody on there, and then they'll come in and go out, and then they'll come back. So I don't stress about it anymore. Now, see, now you got two people already on there, but just show you how fast it is. So did you get a notification?
Mm-mm.
Nothing. Let me see. Oh, let me see here if I can tag you in now. Hi there. Thanks for tuning in. Two people from the business page and one person on our personal page. So I'm in three different stream yards.
Okay.
So you got people from different platforms. And so um, if anybody comments, you'll see them on here. And then,
Okay.
so we're getting ready to get started discussing some important topics of discussion about taxes. Again, you already know I'm Tisha Perry, and this is
Kizzy Williams,
Kizzy Williams. And who do you, what's your name of your company?
Fast Tech Central.
Fast Tax Central. So she's going to be giving some important facts about taxes. We're going to discuss a little bit about real estate, a little bit about commercial and credit. So we're going to touch a few topics of discussion today. But most importantly is the important facts about how taxes impact your home ownership goals and whether you're trying to even if you're trying to establish a business, how your taxes impact you. So when you have a business and you're trying to file taxes and if you're trying to make a purchase, taxes are important because that kind of shows where your money's coming from.
Yes.
A lot of people make money, but they don't report it. So it's hard to get things,
Right.
even if you're a business and you're trying to acquire business credit. That's why, even with me, when I first started open up different businesses and I wanted to get business lines of credit, the first thing they want to know is the kind of money you bringing in. That counts even over your credit. You can have some people have poor credit, but if they got the money, they're able to get things that other people can't get because they got the money. So it makes a huge difference when you actually have the income reported and able to show that. And the way you have that done is by filing your taxes. So how you doing, Miss Tarver? How you doing, Sandriana? Yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for support. Click like and click share. Show it up. Tell other people about us so that we'll be able to get, the views that we need to continue on. Time is valuable and we're doing this for the community. So we appreciate people who are tuning in, sharing this knowledge because this is something I'm going to be doing every week. It's not going to change. The only thing is, as time go by, we may figure out what times may be more beneficial for people because oftentimes when you first start doing something, you might have a problem with exact timing that works for a lot of people. So we're trying to make sure that we got everybody notified of. So now so mine is showing notified on here
Okay.
that let me see here. Let me see if I can tag you. You might tell other people about us. One moment here. Let's see here. What I'm gonna do is tag you on here. Tell other people about because I don't want it to be it's okay. People are coming on. How you doing? More
Hi.
people on.
Hi
I'm
everyone.
trying to get Kizzy so she's on here and tag her so that she can go ahead and share it and she can have her people that support her page on there as well. So give us a brief
Yeah.
second. And that way, Kizzy Williams. So you should get a notification now that I tagged you on there. So you should
Okay.
be able to share it.
Okay.
You might.
Have to refresh. Here you
There it
go.
is.
There it is.
So now you might be able to go ahead and go on into you see. Okay, but I think you have to. Now you should be show anywhere to share it. Oh.
This is
These phones be
hilarious.
tripping. But anyway, we're gonna get into some hot topics. I was
There
trying to
you
get
go.
that. You see where?
Yeah, I can share now.
Yeah, you can say your stuff on there so they
Okay.
can join us.
Same. Okay.
Uh huh. Yeah. So that's how you're able to get so they actually showing your page and then it'll be
Thank
showing.
you.
And then you can comment on it so people can start tuning in and actually see the stream. There's other ways to do it, but you know, other than that, I'm glad you guys are tuning in. Hey, Peach Bradford, thank you for tuning in. I see a few people on here from my business page. You guys are supporting me. I really appreciate that. So, as mentioned, for those who are just now coming in, we're going to get into some important topics of why getting your taxes done have a huge impact on your home ownership purchases and goals for even establishing business credit. Because when you're trying to get some things in life, they want to know what your money looking like. Now, don't get me wrong. There's always ways to buy things without filing taxes if you got the money, but you're going to pay a higher rate. You'll be considered a risk. So a lot of times people say, well, I know someone who bought a home or got business credit without having enough credit or without even having their taxes. Yes, there's always ways around things, but you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay more because you don't have those things set in place. So Kizzy, she does taxes for a living and a few other things just like me. I don't do taxes, and quite often, although we offer a credit consulting program, people often ask, do we have a tax program? I don't do taxes, but I do have partners, people that I partner with, and she's someone that, is interested in sharing knowledge about what she does for a living when it comes down to taxes, how it impacts you when you're trying to become a homeowner, whether you're trying to establish a business, and what the requirements are when you're doing these things. So you need to be aware of this because it impacts your goals. So if your goal is to be a homeowner, you need to understand that typically the banks want you to have 2 years taxes filed. That's 2 years. And when you have 2 years, whether you're W-2 or 1099, 1099 is self-employed. A lot of people don't know that. They think, well, I do have a job, but they get a 1099. So 1099 is considered self-employed, which means that you file your own taxes and are responsible for paying taxes. And if you haven't been doing that, it will impact what you can qualify for.
That's right.
Another issue we run into is people don't want to pay any taxes, so they write off the income.
Right.
And then so when you get ready to buy some, it shows that you're taking a loss every year. So you can't do that every year. When you get ready to buckle down to buy a home, you want to have that income reported so that you can qualify for a good amount to be able to get something nice, especially if you're making 6 figures and saying you're making $20,000 a year. Yes. You're really going to be mad. You're really going to be mad for what they qualify you for. So having your taxes filed yearly is a great benefit. And then she's going to go into some details about what she does in her company. Go ahead and speak, Kizzy.
Well, Tasha, I can't call you Tasha. Tisha. See, I keep getting you wrong.
You black. Most black folks know my name now. Tisha Perry.
I done had a long day today. I've been, like I said, left for conference, and I had to run over here to you, speak to you all.
Yes, okay.
I apologize for that.
It's okay.
And we'll talk all that down, still don't get your name wrong. But I do apologize. But yeah, you have really spoke about what I was going to say. Those 2 years, that's so very important because we always want to look at the fact I don't want to pay taxes. But that is so important because that paying the taxes really actually pay you back because it's out for you to get a home that you want, get the car that you want, or anything that you might need to start a business. But usually we have that problem with the business owners, the 1099s, as you say, and also the small business owners who have the LLCs. Mm-hmm. They be the ones, and they want, and this thing about want to write things off. That's a hot topic. Been for the past 2 years since the COVID-19 thing, but it's really not the great thing to write things off. It's all as you spoke. It's very important to show what we actually are earning and what we are, and also our losses, because your revenue and your expenses. You don't want to show that you're a poor company because after I think it's 3 years, IRS like this is a hobby. This is not a business.
Right.
So you have to, and you want to start this thing out strong because 2 years you can be able to start from a suite to be able to be a suite office suite. So next 2 years you can be able to own the building. So you want to be that. So you want to be able to be that so you can scale. You walk in the door saying, hey, I'm a small business now, but 2 years from now I'm gonna be a franchise. So you have to think of it that way. So paying taxes is a great thing because it pays you back.
Right. And so when we think about when it comes down to home ownership and actual establishing business credit and some other types of lines of credit that they're going to pull and ask for taxes. So if once you get to a certain level and you're trying to do bigger things, your taxes are even impacted from personal in your personal life, not just for buying a house, but getting other lines of credit for what you're trying to accomplish. And sometimes when you're buying a car, they may ask for that if you are self-employed, if you do not have a W-2. Right. There are times they may ask. Now, for the lower end products, they may not ask that much about it, if your credit score is there. But depending on the circumstances, your taxes is going to be important. And oftentimes we find that a lot of people are not filing taxes for many, many years. They don't report their taxes. They're not claiming anything. So when it's time to establish something in life, it makes it difficult for them to be able to get qualified for a loan. And you know, life happens. We make mistakes. But once we learn from that, we want to come out of that and try to get our taxes done so that we can acquire something. And then even when it comes down to it, I might be dealing with some guys who may own child support. So they don't want to file because they feel like, oh, they're gonna take my child, the child support people are gonna take my taxes. Well, duh, if you owe the money, it may be beneficial for you to go ahead and file, let them take that little money from the taxes, and then knock off what you owe. Because you're hurting yourself. You know, if you owe the money, especially when it come down to child support, you don't want to limit yourself and not be able to do anything because you have a situation that you didn't resolve. Right. Sometimes if you owe somebody, you know they're going to take the taxes, it's going to let them take it because you're not getting the money anyway. Yes. You're not getting a refund anyway. Right. So you went years without getting a refund because you didn't want to file, because you didn't want nobody to take your money, right. But you're not even getting no money. Yeah. You know, you're not even getting a refund. So if you were paying in it, you're not getting that money back and you're not paying off your debt with it. So it only makes sense that if you owe someone, let them go ahead and take that little tax money. That'll also keep you from having to sweat about it. You know, have to worry about those things. You're going to get that resolved. Right. So that eliminates extra debt. We got to get in a mindset of realizing the importance of filing taxes, yes, building our credit, and taking care of our responsibility. Here's another thing I ran into recently. I had a few people reach out to me because they was like, well, we got some land. How about we just decide to just get a trailer or a modular home and put it on there? Well, first off, I don't sell trailers and modular homes. You don't have to have an agent to do that. But I will tell you some important facts about this. What you need to understand is you don't go the easy route. Stop thinking that, oh, I don't want to have to go through what I need to do to get my credit together. I can get me a modular home and I have to worry about that. And then you're paying a high rate for a trailer. That's right. Something that might not even last long. Not to knock living in a trailer, not to lock someone for getting the modular home. Those things are valuable. People can still live a comfortable life in them. They have some nice ones. But to buy them now for quality, you're going to spend almost the cost for a house for a really, really nice one. So you might as well invest in getting your credit together so that you could actually benefit and have something that you really, really want and own that's more stabilized. Okay? So these are things that are very important when it comes down to building your credit, understanding how credit impacts your overall wealth building in life. When I mention wealth building, I'm not talking about becoming rich. I'm not saying that you are going to be rich by owning a home. I'm not saying that you're going to be rich by having great credit. Wealth building is a part of being stable. It's called stability. Managing your finances to be stable. It goes down to when I ask customers about their home ownership goals, I always ask, what's your annual household income? And you know, most people don't even know the answer. And they get a W-2 every year, but they don't even look at the W-2 or remember what it says. You've been on your job X amount of years. You should know what you're bringing in. One reason why you should know these things, whether you're making a lot of money, a little money, a middle income, high income, whatever the case may be, that might even motivate you. If you know you're only making 20 grand a year, you've been on this same job 15 years, you got high school students coming out making that might motivate you to do something different. That's one reason why you want to know about that. And so having your taxes filed, being able to do these things will help you to be able to understand why it's impacting your growth, how it's impacting your growth. What is it that I could do to eliminate not being able to move to that next phase in life? When people come to me saying, oh, they don't know what they want to do, this market is wild, or the interest rate is high, or they can't find a home, but then you're still renting at 50 and 60, you don't have that kind of time to make the decision to keep renting because the cost of living is going to keep going up. It's not going back down. It's not going to go back to where it was 15, 20 years ago. So every year counts. Make your time count. Make what you're doing counting. And so from a business perspective, there's different type of taxes involved. Okay. And once you make a certain amount of money, you have to figure out which one is going to work for you. And this is what Kizzy is going to mention about the importance of, for those who are self-employed, how business taxes are impacted and what to expect. Because of course, if you're not paying taxes quarterly, you're going to pay them annually once a year. You got a lump sum that you're going to have to pay. If you're going to claim any income. That's it. So when you have to claim income, you're going to come out the pocket. Yes. And hopefully you're saving throughout the year and you're not blowing money, because if you're making six figures, you should have enough savings to be able to do some stuff if you manage your money well. Kizzy, what's your point? What's your thoughts on the different taxes that are filed for LLC, S Corp, and how it impacts when it comes down to the income bracket? What's your thoughts on
Okay.
that?
The first thing is the three that the two you just mentioned. I think it's best if you're a company, whether it's LLC or S corp, it's best to file estimated quarterly taxes. That way, as you're making the money, you can follow you are following your books with your bookkeeper or your accountant, and you know what you're making 3 months. You're making those three of those every quarter. So that way, you know you go ahead and pay that now instead of waiting till tax season and have to pay out at one year's worth of taxes. So and also it also gives you an incentive to say like before, okay, this quarter I only made this amount of dollars. So my next quarter goal is to make more, or I know what I have to spend in taxes. So I need to make, do little things different for my company so that I can be able to be more productive in my company and to save on taxes. So that way, if you pay quarter, you know where you winning or losing in the tax on your taxes, instead of at the end of the year waiting on that, and then the bookkeeper at the end of the year waiting on, oh, I've been in business for 2022 and in 2023. When you come to the office, then you like, well, here, this is what I made, but then you haven't even done bookkeeping all year. That also cause a lot of stress on you for taxes, and also having to pay penalties and late fees because you have to file later because of the fact you was prepared throughout the year. And the best thing that rule of thumb is the LLC, you get double taxed. For a sole proprietor, you get double tax. And if you're making six figures, if you're making a great amount of income, it's best to file S corp and to set it up properly. I have clients to come in to change over from LLCs to S corp because they were making great money. So they didn't, when they started, they just, hey, I just want to start a business. So they didn't know it. All they know is LLC. I'm a sole proprietor. It's just me, because usually when you start a business, it's just for you. So you're the one, and because you had the vision, you had the idea, and then as time progressed, you be able to hire staff and employ others. So I know we all started LLC, but once you start saying, hey, my business is really growing and I'm doing great, consult an accountant to transfer over to your company to S corp. It'll pay off in the long run.
And I'm also guilty of that. I realized, when I first set up my businesses, I've had many businesses over the years, of course, like stuff I might have started, didn't even do nothing with early on in life. But then once I started really making the money, I didn't realize that having an LLC, once you make a certain amount of money, especially over six figures, you're going to spend out a great deal amount of money unless you're paying throughout the year. And it don't matter, even if you're paying throughout the year, you're still going to pay that money.
Yep.
Thankfully, I save mine, so I'm able to pay my taxes in a lump sum. But it doesn't, it's no fun when you realize I could have actually changed over to an S corp had I known better early on, and not have to worry about as much as I'm paying now that I reached a certain level in life. So I've been spending a great deal amount of money paying out taxes the last few years, because even when I was told, I didn't do it right away. I didn't change over to S corp, because once you file and you don't pay thousands of dollars, it's like, now I'm on to the next. I ain't even worried about it. Now I'm trying to figure out making more money. I don't make that money back. So it was a loss, but not really a loss. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna make the money back. But I could actually spend less had I went on to file S corp. So I'm also someone who had to learn about them taxes and realize I'm not getting money back. So those days are over with about trying to get some money back. What I have to realize is, if I'm going to be spending money and having to pay out taxes, is how I can manage my tax situation better and not have to come out the pocket so much. It calls for preparation. It calls for being involved with people who know what they're doing and setting you up for success. Just like when people pay for different services, you pay to get your hair done, you pay to get your nails done, you pay to get, all these other little personal things you like to do. You have to hire expert people who know what they're doing, who can lead you in the right path when you're trying to really get things done in life. It can be a headache. So that's why it's important to prep. It's called preparation. That's what it's all about. Preparing for the future. So it can eliminate the issues when it comes down to taxes. You also mentioned to me about some tax benefits that you was telling me about related to Georgia, like pregnant women.
Yeah.
You also, so tell me a little bit about some of those the benefits that you was talking about, the tax benefits.
Georgia, for state of Georgia, if you normally you have to have a child already born, but this year in July they made a state take into law that they're going to allow, if you have an unborn child, you can claim your unborn child on your taxes this coming up tax season for the state of Georgia residents only. so far it's on state that I know that's interested that have made put that into law, but some I'm sure other states may put it may follow the lead. I'm not sure, but Georgia residents, if you um, become pregnant July, I'm not sure, I can't remember the exact date, but it was July that it came to law. Anytime after that, you can claim an unborn child on your taxes.
You can claim an unborn child. Okay.
Unborn child on your state taxes, on your state of Georgia taxes, and you can claim it as a credit.
Oh.
Yeah, you claim it as a credit.
Okay, so you can
$3,000 credit.
Wow, so you can claim money in advance, and
For your baby still in your stomach.
yeah, you mentioned that to me, and then also you mentioned something about a penalty waiver for
2019 and 2020.
So 2019 is past. We now in 2020. So
Yeah,
2021 and 2020.
2019 and 2020. This they had put into law, if you had paid late tax, if you had haven't filed or even have filed and you filed late, they're gonna waive the late fees and the penalties. As long as you file by September 30th of 2020.
So that's the only two things, because they charged me for filing late for last year, so they don't count for 2021.
So you got 2020?
I already did all that, but they charged me for filing late this year.
But they didn't get 2021 people. They got 2019 and 20 because of the COVID.
What they were COVID last year?
They said, but it was not 2019, 2020. That was the last thing.
Now, wait a minute now. They should go away with my little fee. I need to call the IRS.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying? I could have paid. The thing about life is, none of us are perfect. That's why I wanted to share my experience too. I didn't do the escort like I was supposed to. I mean, I definitely should have been doing it a long time ago. You get caught up with life, and then you do your taxes and you don't pay the money, you go home. But once you told something, that's why it's important to have a tax expert managing your finances. And if you have a W-2, you got money coming out. If you are self-employed and you have a W-2, there are some other benefits with that as well. I remember when I was working at a company and I was getting a W-2 and I was getting a 1099, I always used to get a little money back because I was paying some taxes, and it wasn't so harsh on me because I also work for someone.
Right.
So if you are currently working for someone and you have a business, take advantage of that while you're working there to buy your home, because it can be more easier for you to get approved versus waiting to after you are no longer working there. Now you're waiting 2 more years to file to show you have enough income. Because usually when people are working for someone and they're filing their taxes, they're probably going to write off more income because they're already paying taxes out of the W-2 job. And then they're not really worried about it because they don't make extra money on their side business. But when you are filing your taxes, you need to understand it depends on what your overall goal is.
That's right.
Then you need to know you need at least 2 years of good taxes filed correctly. Do it right from the get-go. I ain't trying to tell you not doing that. What I'm saying is, if you know you got a plan that you're trying to do something, accomplish a goal or buy something, or whatever you're trying to do, you need at least 2 years of good taxes. And then usually when you first start filing, you probably haven't made enough income anyway. So you're going to make sure that the income is showing and having the reporting where it's actually showing enough that you can benefit from. Let me make sure of something here. Let me make sure. I got a feeling that on my personal page, it may have logged me in. I think what happened is on my personal page, I think that it shows that I am okay. I am public. I'm trying to make sure that it didn't put me in as private, because I also did something earlier on my thing, and I had went on there as private, and I was trying to make sure it didn't log me in private, and you be talking and nobody even know you on there. That's correct. I've done that before. I did a whole live video, and I was went back and saw that it was on private.
Oh man!
And I was like, wait a minute. No wonder why nobody was on there, because we logged in multiple platforms. So when you're looking at the system, you want to make sure everybody's not going to be logged in. People at work, and you got people coming in and out. Yeah. What I am grateful for, those who on my business page are tuning in, and I'm really grateful for that. That's the most important part. Personal page, that's good, but the business page is what you're trying to build. And so for the most important part, as I was saying, when you're doing your taxes, when you get ready to buy a home, when you're trying to establish a business, everything regarding taxes matters. Yeah. You can always do things when you got money, if you got the income, but you're going to pay more if you don't have the proof of income. And proof of income is having a stable bank account, because I know people who make money who don't even have a good bank account established. Yeah. Don't even have your business set up correctly. These are very important things that need to be done as it relates to real estate ownership, credit, and anything else you're trying to get. Okay, having a legitimate bank account is part of building your stability as well, and showing history, being managing your finances.
Yes.
It's called managing finances. Any other points you want to bring out?
No, we covered everything. The tips.
So, what type of services does your company offer with the taxes?
I'm an accountant. I have 21 years of accounting experience. I specialize in individual taxes, taxes, business funding, and also I do bookkeeping.
Oh, you do bookkeeping.
Yes, I do bookkeeping as well, and I'm also a notary. Yeah.
Okay, well, she got a.
So that's what I've been doing. Anything done with money. That's pretty much me.
Okay, that's good news. I was using Sunrise Bookkeeping, but they just sent me a notification that they're no longer doing businesses anymore. They're no longer doing bookkeeping for businesses, for corporations and business. I said, how you not gonna be doing bookkeeping no more? I said, wait a minute now. You guys ain't gonna be doing bookkeeping. So, yep. So I'll be looking for another bookkeeper. I'm also looking for a virtual assistant. I'm looking for some other people to join my team. I got a lot of stuff going on. So this year we're gonna end it with a bang. We got a lot of exciting good things coming up. And we're looking to help you guys who are looking to get help with their credit, home ownership goals. Mapping out a plan is what I call it. Because anytime you're doing business, it's all about a plan. Everything you do in life is called mapping out a plan. It's like you don't wait to start to next year. If your lease is up in June will be here with a blink of an eye. We only got a few months left before it's the first of the year. Yes. Once January and February hit, we already in spring. And you don't wait till January to start doing anything when you already know that your lease is about to be up, so that you can already be prepared. Months before your lease is up, your credit should already be in order. You should already have money saved. You already know that you want to move, that you plan on not renewing your lease. So that means you already prepare now. You don't prepare 2-3 months in advance that, oh, now I want to buy a house. And then you come calling, do y'all have any rental property? To even qualify for rental properties now, they're more stricter. They're gonna go by your income and credit. It's gonna be almost the same thing. Your income is gonna matter, proof of income, and your credit to qualify for a nice place to live, not just home ownership. So if you know that you're having some struggles, now is the time to work on that instead of waiting till next year. That's my take on it. So that everything you're doing, you're mapping out a plan. Everything you're doing now is planning for successful future. And that's what we're here for, to help you from the start to finish as it relates to building credit, establishing better credit for home ownership, or just a better life period. And some tips on this: if you do not have any credit, or your child don't have any credit, start out with a secured credit card. That'll be a way to start somewhere. If you cannot qualify for a traditional card, Capital One is really good about giving people their first credit card. I mean, I got my first credit card, I think I was 17.
Yeah, I was in college.
I was like, I was so happy. I felt like I was doing something. They only gave me $200. That was like, I think I had just turned 18, and I got approved for a Capital One credit card, $200. I felt proud. Listen, I felt like I was doing something. And then soon after that, I was paying good. They went up to $1,000, or whatever, because that was many years ago. But it shows that you can have your kids learn how to start establishing credit early and not wait till later on in life. That's what it all boils down to. Start establishing credit early in life and not waiting to further on out. Start now building your credit. Start now establishing things and training your children. So with some mistakes you've made, you prepare them for their future instead of them getting debt. Here's another thing I want to leave on a note about co-signing for people. If you could avoid that at all costs, please avoid that at all costs, even for your own children, especially if you haven't got yourself established, because your income is going to be impacted based on your DTI, debt to income ratio, what you have going in and what you have coming out. If you're co-signing for people and you don't have all that kind of money to really cover those things, you're going to run into some problems. So I try to tell people, before you start co-signing for anybody, make sure you have already gotten everything you wanted, because if you don't, it's going to impact what you qualify for when you get ready to buy a home. Car dealerships will loan you a car in a minute and slap a high interest rate. But when it's time to buy a house, now you got 2-3 cars on your name and you're only making 40 or 50K a year, it's going to hurt you, because those car loans are going to be impacted. Here's one other tip, though. If you happen to co-sign for a spouse or a relative and you really had to do it for whatever personal reason you chose to do so, do not have them giving you cash. Have it come automatic from their bank account. Or you set up a separate account with their name on it, put the money in there, have the payment coming automatically out of there. So that way, as long as it shows that the payment is being made for 1 year, 1 year is all you need to have it impacted on subtracted from your debt to income ratio, where it's not impacting you, because it shows they're making that payment from their bank account and you're not paying it. So the banks will say, okay, well, this person has been making successful payments for a year. They will not use that against your DTI, debt to income ratio. But if it's coming out your bank account, even if they gave you the cash, you're paying it. That's just one tidbit. And if you are in the process of buying a house and your car break down or something like that, it's best to go ahead and rent a car for a few months. You're going to be paying a car note anyway. And the cost to rent a car may be almost the same. You don't have to get a luxury car. Get something simple to hold you out till you close. Then after you close, you can buy a house the same day. I mean, a car the same day if you want to. But if your goal is to buy a home, you have to think and prepare in advance. If your goal is to build better credit, you have to think and prepare in advance. How can I get the lines of credit that I want to establish? It comes down to your taxes and your income. That's what's going to have the determining factor of everything else that you have that you're trying to accomplish. Is there anything else you want to leave off on?
No, if anybody need an accountant, I'm available at 334-458-1000, Fast Tax Central.
All right. So I'm glad she was able to be on here with us today. Like I said, each week we're going to have someone on who's going to be providing some good news for individuals who want to know different topics of discussion each week. And anybody else have some topics they want me to bring out and discuss, send me an inbox and we'll be happy to set it up for you. Guys, have a great day. Thank you.
Bye.